All right, let's get this thing started. Hello, Shagath Unknown here, as usual. We'll talk about my Twitch channel a bit, ramble, as I like to do, but seriously, would like to ask for some advice. What this is a bit of a open video asking for opinions, suggestions, whatever, as to the direction I might be able to take things. Making sure my phone's muted. There we go. I don't want that going off. So what I want to do, I want to try and make this first part quick. I want to give a bit of a TLDR, and I'm going to divide this thing up into chapters. I can put timestamps and there'll be chapters, so if you want to skip around or something, you'll kind of have an idea of what's going on. But I know I can talk a bit, and I want to provide some context and some history of the channel, I guess, to help maybe guide where things go. So yeah, I'll definitely make sure I bookend that or whatever. But really, what I want to ask about, what I want to talk about is I've been thinking a lot about kind of changing up my scheduling a little bit for the stream. The quick version, I guess, is that I feel like there's not enough variety anymore. And I'll go into the full context of that, but I feel like there's not enough variety happening on stream. And I guess in order to address that, I'm thinking about making some changes, and we'll see where that goes, and maybe I can get some ideas in the comments or something. But I'm going to give some of the ideas that I have and kind of talk about this. So that's it. First and foremost, that's the TLDR. If you have any suggestions on what I might be able to do to increase variety, put them down below. But this is really for the people who watch my Twitch stream. And if you somehow stumble across this and you don't know me, I don't know why you're watching this, but thank you. And please check out the Twitch stream at twitch.tv/ShagathUnknown. I would call myself variety, but the way things have been lately, I don't know. That's why we're going to talk about it. So with that out of the way, here's kind of the context. Here's a bit of the history of how the stream has evolved since I started it, and how I'm thinking about maybe changing things, I guess. I started in October of 2020, and it took about 25 days or so before I hit affiliate. So things are going pretty well. And the way I started, I know like the first two streams was me playing a medieval. I think I went day one like 8 hours or something on a medieval, and then day two I beat the game however long it took, and then I think day three was Spelunky 2 or something. I think I went from Spelunky 2 to Tales of Majayal, but I don't even know what day three was. Like at that point, every stream was a different game, and I kind of started out by doing that, and then I guess it was a couple weeks in that I started settling a little bit on a schedule. So my buddy Captain Copperbeard and we started doing Halo on Wednesdays, and that was one of the first big like things that fit into place that we kind of agreed on, and we kept doing that. I know Tuesdays for a bit ended up being a roguelike day, so I mentioned Tales of Majayal, which that would have been a Tuesday, the third stream I ever did on the channel. But I know I was playing Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, and I did some Caves of Quud. I don't know if that's how you say it or not, but definitely like it was a roguelike day for a while. So it was almost like different days were different kinds of games. I know for a long time, every Sunday, I did a different run of Hexen, with each different class, and I started trying to do my runs faster and faster. And I did the expansion for like the first time ever, the Death Kings of the Dark Citadel. So there's a lot of variety. Like every stream was something radically different almost. But what it also meant was that I would end up going like a week without playing something. So I know Thursdays very quickly, within like maybe 3 or 4 weeks of streaming, turned into Factorio days. Thursday was a Factorio day, but I really love Factorio. So whatever Monday used to be, I ended up cutting it and turning Monday into Factorio day. So now I had Monday, Thursday as Factorio day, and Captain Copperbeard and I had settled on Saturday as another co-op day, where we both started playing Metal Gear Solid 5. and we would just get on our chat, on a TeamSpeak chat, and just play the game for like 8 hours. And before we beat that, we finished running through all the Halo games, so we started up Space Engineers. And at this point, things were still very sporadic. Like, we had 2 co-op days settled in on Wednesday and Saturday. I had still been doing a lot of Hexen on Sundays, but I think that was starting to phase out, I guess. Mondays and Thursdays were Factorio, and I think at some point I even turned like Friday into Factorio, because I really, really like Factorio. So things started solidifying a bit, but I had this thing going where, I guess it was Monday, Thursday, and Friday Factorio, Wednesday, Saturday co-op, and we almost started up a separate game for co-op on Saturday, but we ended up deciding that it's best to do Space Engineers on both days. That way we could actually make progress in the games we were playing, right? Instead of having just smaller chunks. 4 hours of Space Engineers a week is not a lot. So that really left my only solidified days as Sunday and Tuesday. And I know for a long time I had 2 separate games running on those days, right? So I remember, I don't know which day was which, but I know I played Dark Souls 2, I played Subnautica, and I played Bloodborne and Code Vein. I think Bloodborne and Code Vein were running simultaneously. But it would be like a week, right? Because like if Bloodborne was on Tuesday, it wouldn't be until the next Tuesday that I played it again. So it was very hard to like really make progress in these games. And I started kind of rearranging things. I actually took out some Factorio days, so like Monday now became dedicated to one of those games as well. And that was painful because I really like Factorio. But I know like that's where things started. I said I need more structure in what I'm doing. I can't do a different thing every day because I'm never going to finish anything, or at least it's going to take so long to finish something that by the time I do beat the game, like I'm going to find myself wanting to play another game, right? I'm going to, take a month and a half to beat a long RPG or something that I'm not going to be as invested in it by the end, right? So I made some changes there where I kind of pared down some of those days, and at some point, like I know even in December of 2020, I was still kind of sporadic, but I knew that I needed to make changes. So I think I remember it was Bloodborne and Code Vein, and I actually really liked Code Vein, and I've considered replaying it, but I know at that point I was really getting hype about Bloodborne. I think what I had done is I'd been doing Code Vein and Dark Souls 2 at the same time, and I finished Dark Souls 2 first. And then I started up Bloodborne, and I got really hype, and it's like, I don't want to wait another week to play Bloodborne. Let me just put Code Vein on the back burner a little bit. And that's where I started really making that change and saying, you know what, I need to have a game that I focus on, because we're still going to have our co-op days, but I need to focus on another game, right? And everything up to that point was like phase 1 of the stream, I guess. And then this started pushing me into what I would call like phase 2. And what phase 2 really ended up being is basically 2 co-op days, Wednesday and Saturday, and then pretty much every other stream was a single game, a main game as I called it, which was just a long form game. It could be an RPG or just like a longer whatever kind of game it is. I would focus on that until I beat it. It could be 2 streams, it could be 7 streams, right? But I was streaming every day of the week, so things typically didn't last too long when I played them that way, right? And the only time I would ever have a gap is on a Wednesday or a Saturday when it was co-op day, so I wouldn't have a long time away from a game, really. So that kind of brought me into phase 2 of the stream. And that worked out for a little while. I don't know exactly when that started. I would say January of 2021. Around the time I was playing Monster Hunter, I think that's when things really solidified. And that game still probably took nearly a month to play. The first game that really stands out as part of phase 2 for me, You know, I didn't really enjoy Monster Hunter that much, but that's probably really the first one. But the first one that really comes to my mind was Chrono Trigger. And I know there was something else in there. I know I played like Tomba 2 just before Chrono Trigger. There's some other game I played. I did a couple shorter games after Monster Hunter. I remember that. And then I remember doing Chrono Trigger, and that game really stood out to me. Now, not only I did have a lot of drinking problems at the time, but that was like really like super hardcore. Phase 2 of the stream, where like every stream was Chrono Trigger except for co-op streams. And then Final Fantasy VII comes next. You know, every stream is Final Fantasy VII except for co-op streams. And it really helped push through these, especially games like, you know, Final Fantasy VII, which are much longer than, you know, say a shooter or something like a Medieval. And then I guess you have open-ended games like Factorio that can just never end if you're not careful. So, which that's about how the game works for me, I guess. So anyway, that's like phase 2 as I refer to it. And that lasted for a few months. I know by around mid-April, I can tie it to certain events in my life at the time. I needed another change, and I guess this would be phase 3. So what I realized is at that point, just focusing on only one game and then the co-op days was kind of making me feel like I needed more variety. And this is where it's going to be super relevant to today, but things are still different today, because back then I was streaming every day. So my solution at the time was, I work Monday through Thursday, so I thought Thursday night, after work, that stream, and then whatever my Friday stream is going to be a whatever day, whatever I feel like playing day, right? So that was phase 3. So now this is where it gets like weird. Well, no, not that weird. So Wednesday, co-op. Thursday, Friday, whatever I feel like playing. So I know I did like Streets of Rage 4 one time because I'd never played it. Underminer, the KFC dating sim, Dream Daddy. These were some of the most fun, just off the wall, like, it was no pressure to like continue a big long game or whatever, right? I was just there to have fun with whatever I felt like playing. It was just random stuff. And that really worked out. I know I think I did some Noita, did all kinds of games during that. So that would be Thursday, Friday. Saturday's back to co-op. And then Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is my long form game, which would be where like an RPG or whatever would sit. I know I definitely did like Atelier Ryza during that. And hell, I could probably check pretty easily because I actually had people vote on it. I don't know if I still have that available, however. But I actually, back then I had people vote in my Discord on what I should play. Actually, there it is, yeah. So we did Atelier Ryza, I know we did that, and... Actually, I guess I didn't do another vote. Whatever, though, it doesn't matter. I'm getting sidetracked, I'm good at that. So anyway, that led me, that was phase 3, where I had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday as a main game, Wednesday, Saturday as co-op, and then Thursday, Friday is a whatever day. Now, around that time, unfortunately, I was no longer doing half days in the office. I was doing full 10-hour days in the office. And just being able to get there, do a 10-hour day, get back home and be ready for stream, I had zero time to myself, zero time to decompress from work. I mean, I was literally getting in the door 7 minutes before I was scheduled to start stream, you know, and then I would stream for 4 hours. And then from there, I think at some point, because of how crazy that got, I started doing 3 hours on work days, but it's still, I just felt so overwhelmed that I got burned out with like everything, and I took a hiatus, and the hiatus definitely lasted longer than I anticipated, but I came back. I did a couple of streams on Twitch, but I had been floating the idea of trying YouTube to see if somehow it would be better. I've got a whole other video about that on this channel, so we're not going to go into that here. It didn't work out very well. It wasn't as enjoyable. Quality was better, but community and all was not there. It just wasn't as good of a time. So I went back to Twitch, and it honestly took like 2 to 3 months on YouTube before I went back to Twitch. It took longer than it should have, but I was determined to just try to make something work. Finally, though, I went back to Twitch, and this kind of this whole phase of me coming back from the hiatus was like a phase 4. And what this was basically me streaming Friday, Saturday, Sunday only, because I realized streaming work days was too much. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I can handle that, right? I don't work those days. Easy. Yeah, I had a great time with it. It was working, except for the problems with YouTube. So, I go back to Twitch. I'm having a lot more fun back on Twitch. And eventually I start feeling like, man, 3 days is not enough. So I guess if anything, we'll call this phase 5. 3 days was not enough. But I only work Monday through Thursday. So if I stay up later Thursday night or whatever, not so bad, right? Like I could stay up later on Thursday night. I don't have to worry about waking up super early Friday morning per se, because I normally get up at 5 o'clock for work. So I don't have to worry about, streaming until 9:30 p.m. or something, and then like trying to go to bed and then get up at 5 a.m. like zero free time, right? So I start my current, I guess, phase 5 is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's been working out, except the problem that I feel like I need more variety again. I'm back to where I was in, I guess, phase 2 to phase 3. Phase 3 again being where I swapped Thursday and Friday streams to be a whatever I want to play day. But here's the problem, and here's where kind of the advice or whatever, or suggestions would really be helpful. I only stream right now 4 times a week. And therein is the problem. By only streaming 4 times a week, if I were to turn Thursday and Friday into whatever days, then I really only get to play 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, on my main game, whatever that may be. So here recently, starting in December, this is how long I've been playing Final Fantasy. The first Final Fantasy X stream that I did was the 29th of November. That lasted until the 12th of December, so it took me a couple weeks to beat Final Fantasy X, and that's because most of that was actually, like, all of that was while I was doing just 4 streams a week. Yeah, so we have the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th of December, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th of December. And one of those was like a 15-hour stream. I just kept going and going. So would have actually taken more streams. So that was like from the 29th of November to the 12th of December. And then right about time I started up, I did 10-2 after that. And that was 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 of December. And this is because I had a 2-week break from work. Then we had Final Fantasy VII Remake, the 22nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 27th, and then 27th was like a big 31.5-hour stream, so I didn't do 28th. And then the 29th of December, all Final Fantasy VII Remake. And then 30th of December, 31st, and the 1st of January, 2nd of January, 6th, 7th, 8th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th of January, all Final Fantasy 12. I've been doing Final Fantasy since the end of November, so it's been almost 2 months of Final Fantasy, and I love it, and I don't want to not play it, but I don't feel like I have a lot of variety, right? Because that's literally been every single stream. I need some way to mix it up. The idea I've been floating is Fridays. I don't know why. Friday just seemed like it's a casual day, right? Friday's a casual day, so just play something casually, whatever. So then Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday would be the main game. That's one option. I've even considered trying to add back another day to streaming. Like, I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but that leaves Tuesday open. So maybe even add in Tuesday as a bit of randomness to mix things up. I don't know. Like, this is where I'm kind of stuck. I don't want to keep adding days to the point where I burn out again. Another thing that comes to my mind is I'm on the job hunt. I'm interviewing. So what if when I get a new job, it's probably not going to be 4 10s. It's probably going to be 5 8-hour days. So unfortunately, although I'll be working Friday, each work day will have more free time than my current work days. So that will open up a lot of possibilities for streaming, but I don't want to wait until then, because the earliest, even if I get a job offer next week when I finish one round of interviews, even if they give me a job offer, it's still 2 weeks notice plus like drug testing and all that. That's another week. It's not going to be an immediate thing. We're looking at, over a month before I would be starting a new job at the earliest. So that's a long wait, and I want to make changes before then, right? And I'm definitely, like, I find myself right now, as a bit of a sidetrack, but like a nostalgic thing, I find myself like very nostalgic for two like eras of the stream. And it was like the early phase 1 era. And what this was when everything was brand new, right? Streaming every night. I was super energized every night. And it didn't hurt that I was doing half days in the office. So I go into the office until like noon. I'd, come home. I'd get, often get some lunch on the way home. I'd bring it home. I'd work the rest of my day. And then I'd be ready to stream by the end of the workday. But I'd like, just by being home, I had time to decompress. So I was super energized for every stream. I didn't feel like I was pushing myself too hard. I wasn't being overwhelmed. But then there was the interaction. There were all these new people. So like Captain Copperbeard, old friend of mine, and I get it. He's working now. He's got a job he's got to deal with now, so he can't be there all the time. But he was there every single stream. I was on like every single one of his streams as well. Mad support for each other. Just having him there every time was great. And then all these people I didn't even know in real life, but King B-Rai, Mad Black Dad, Jaeger, all these people that came in and just became regulars and were there all the time. And even part of that was before I really started making changes to phase 2, that's where Goody showed up. And Goody was there for like the entirety of my first 24-hour stream. Like, this was a great time. And I have a lot of great memories of that. As chaotic as it was and just doing different games every day, I have a lot of great memories of that. And it was a lot easier to do that back then when I was doing half days in the office. It was definitely a lot easier. The other time was like going into that phase 2 really. So like I remember this started, I kind of marked that when Shelly first started showing up. And she had shown up with a friend a few weeks prior where they were just randomly watching my stream. And then Shelly shows up like, hey, I made my own account. And then, I didn't see her again for another week or so. And then all of a sudden she came back and then was there for like literally every stream. I was still going every day, right? And literally there for every stream. And then a week or so after that, because that was during Chrono Trigger when she first started showing up to like every stream. And then like a week after that in Final Fantasy VII, I get raided by Mocha and we've got like Tusk and Zack, and you had others like Prince Mage and Secret Town and everything. Is it Secret Own or Secret Town? I'm not sure. But a lot of these people, some of them still show up regularly. Some of them have kind of dwindled out now, but like a lot of these people are still there like every stream or almost every stream, right? So for a while, it was literally every single stream I could count on Shelly, Tusk, and Zack to be there. And like that is one of the best times of like streaming. And still Copperbeard was there for a lot of that as well. Like he was still supporting because I think he was still on the job hunt at the time. So that's like one of the best times that I had period streaming. I'm really nostalgic for that. And part of what's tying me back to that is that there was still a lot of variety back then. Granted, phase 2 was like focus on a main game and do the co-op stream, but this continued into phase 3 where they were all like very much regulars for every single stream. So that's part of why that I'm being tied back to that variety, because it went into phase 3 there. So that's kind of the context. And again, going back to where we're at today, is I've got, I know you can't see it, but I've got on my other monitor here, that's what I was referencing, I've got my YouTube channel pulled up with all the VODs from every stream. And again, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, Final Fantasy, nothing else, right? Except for one video that I put up about, you know, dealing with alcoholism and everything. But that's not a stream, that's not a VOD. Every single stream that I've done since the end of November has been Final Fantasy. And again, I enjoy them. I wouldn't be playing these games if I didn't enjoy them. But, you know, sometimes I feel like, man, I need more variety, right? And I still remember like very specific games and very specific conversations when I had all that variety going. You know, that's where that nostalgia comes from, I guess. You know, I remember being at the end of a Satisfactory stream, one of the Wednesday co-op streams, and you know, Shelly and Tusk, we're all just literally talking about food, and Copperbeard leaves, and I'm running around and jumping in circles as we just talk about food for like 20 extra minutes, about like me being a picky eater and everything, or you know, I remember playing Streets of Rage 4, and I don't think I even knew Shelly was in there at that point, because I think it's when she first showed up, but like some dudes bust in an elevator, just start shooting. I'm like, oh shit, they came in squeezing. And just the reactions and the, you know, the reaction in the chat and everything. Like, I remember very specific things like that, and a lot of it ties me back to that variety, because it was like all different games, right? Every like memory I have was like, oh, I was playing this game, or I was playing that game, or I was doing this, or I was doing that. And everything is like slowed down, and it feels like, you know, just one game, and for like weeks at a time. Again, that's the thing. I mean, Final Fantasy 12 began on the 30th of December, and today is the 16th of January. I streamed it today, and I don't even know how close I am to the end, right? It might still be another 3 streams or something, right? Because there's a lot of side content. I have no idea. It's blind, so I have no idea where I'm at in the main story. So who knows, right? That's why it's like I feel like I need that variety. I guess I kind of have already covered everything I need to. You know, let me wax nostalgic there for a minute. I don't know. I love and hate nostalgia, right? Even like as far as the stream was concerned, as cliche or weird as it sounds, it was a simpler time, right? This was before the burnout, before the hiatus, when I still had energy to stream every single day. And God, I miss that. And I miss just how, like, I miss the way the interaction was back then too, right? I miss that for that like period of time, for like a few months, it was literally every single stream, at least like the 4 of them, Captain Copperbeard, Shelly, Tusk, and Zack were there every stream. Maybe Captain Copperbeard phased out a little before the end of that, because I think that's when he got his job. But it was like literally every stream, and we were just like super like heavy engagement. We had other people like regularly coming in and out, don't get me wrong. I didn't even mention people like Supply Jeff, Axe would drop in and out from time to time. Like, there are so many people that were just still in and out of there, but they weren't as like, it was mainly that like group of just, it doesn't have to be a large stream, but when you got those regulars who are there all the time, it makes a world of difference, you know. So it even makes me wax nostalgic for that. And I don't know what it's going to change. I don't know if it's going to change anything, but I almost feel like variety is going to help. I guess it's going to help me enjoy. I don't know. Like the one problem there. The one problem with switching out a day for variety is with my current schedule. And a couple of these Final Fantasy 12 streams have been more than a couple. I could think of, I think 3 have been 6 hours or more. I think one was like 8 hours. I think there's 3 6-hour ones and one 8-hour one. and I still don't know how far I am from the end of the game. It's, again, that's intentional. I want it to be blind, but it's been it's been half a month, right? How many streams? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 counting today, which I haven't uploaded yet because of Twitch's rules. 24 hours, all that good stuff. What that would effectively do if I switched out one of those streams every week, like Friday for a whatever I want to play stream. See, that's where I used to play like Genshin and stuff. I have a lot of memories of playing Genshin back in that like phase 3 where I switched Thursdays and Fridays out for whatever day. I used to play a lot of Genshin back then. And that was like always a good time. We always had good conversations there. It was always, you know, funny stuff too, you know, making waifu jokes or whatever. Like it always set itself up for a fun time. And that was still, we had like the whole crew was always there every time. So I really liked it back then, when I had that like variety. And again, I don't think that variety is going to necessarily just bring everybody back into every single stream, but it definitely makes me, I don't know, it makes me feel like things will be more interesting when it's not literally just the same game every single time for like more than half a month now, as we've done here with Final Fantasy XII. I don't want to rush the game to completion per se, but I also don't want to just keep doing this and nothing but this, right? We got to find the right balance. So I guess half an hour, that's probably good enough, right? I could probably wrap this up. So the TLDR again, the conclusion to this whole video, if you didn't stick through all the nostalgia and the context, is that streaming the same game for every single stream until I beat it, 4 streams a week. Some games like the one I'm playing now, Final Fantasy XII, last a long time. I've been doing it since the 30th of December, every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I still don't know how much more I'm going to have to play. And as I really do like the game, I promise, if I didn't like the game, I probably would just stop playing it if I wasn't having fun. I want to see the rest of the game. I want to experience the rest of the game, but I need variety. I feel like it's just stale, because if I were still doing this every single day, it wouldn't be as much of a problem. But I need to figure out a way to do variety, whether that's switching out Friday's streams, but that would then expand how long Final Fantasy XII takes. Maybe it's switching, or maybe it's trying out Tuesday as well, since I don't work out on Tuesday. I only go to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe Tuesday would work. I don't know, and that's kind of what I'm looking for here, for ideas or input. Like, I honestly, you know, for the people who do watch the stream and want to give me input, what do you think? Do you also think it's just stale to see the same game and no variety? Would you rather see Final Fantasy take longer if I then have some variety days mixed in or something, right? Like that's kind of what I'm looking for, is I want the stream to be as enjoyable as possible for the people watching, but I also need to enjoy it myself, right? We both need to enjoy it. If I'm not enjoying the stream, the person watching probably isn't either. And I've definitely had at least one of those streams on Final Fantasy XII where I was just kind of like, meh. It's been going how long, and I don't know when we're gonna end, right? So yeah, that's kind of the summary, the conclusion. Looking for input, looking for advice, whatever. I don't know. Also a chance to ramble, get my thoughts out, clear my head. I like doing that. It's fun. It's so much fun. So, as I like to always say, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for providing a comment down below, helping me out, you know, helping organize my thoughts, helping make the stream better, because that's ultimately what we all want, right? So until next time, have a good day, good night, whatever it is, wherever you're at. Take it easy.